We acknowledge the traditional custodians of the ground we stand on and thank them for allowing Papa to tell stories on these glorious lands we share.
Our guest on this episode of Three Food Memories is Australian television royalty. You might remember her as the fiery Katerina on Heartbreak High, but let's be real, she's best known for her iconic quarter-of-a-century run as Leah Patterson on Home and Away. She's right up there with Alf and Irene in the Hall of Fame. But there's a twist. She's not just a TV icon to me, we could very well be related. We share the same bloodline that go deep into the carob and almond orchards of Cyprus. We're what you would call Fasouliotes. So please give a warm welcome to this Hellenic queen who loathes polenta with the same intensity as Kate Blanchett hates leaf blowers and me golf. Άρα, Nicodemou, Ελλάδα Nicodemou. Καλώς όρισες to Three Food Memories.
Savva, how are you? I love that intro. Yes, I do hate polenta. I hate polenta. I hate pepper. We'll get into that later. I either love stuff or I hate stuff. There's no in between.
Why is there no in between? Why can't we have a compromise?
I just know what I like. I'm very decisive. I hate pepper. I've always hated pepper. I don't understand polenta. Polenta is nothing. It's a nothing food. Like it's bland, right?
So then what happens when you get a polenta chip?
Why would anyone? Why? There's chips. There's potatoes. There's sweet potatoes. We don't need to turn that into a chip. It's dumb.
So let's look at some big statistics here. You've played Leah Patterson on Home and Away for 25 years. What is the secret?
I don't know. I really like it. I think I was really lucky. I went on to Home and Away thinking it was going to be a short stint because prior to that, I was on another soap called Breakers and it just wasn't a great experience. So I thought, oh, look, I'll do it for 6 months and then that's it. And 25 years later, I'm still there. It's a really great job. So I don't think there's any secret. I just think I was lucky.
You landed the job lottery.
I really think so. And everyone who comes onto the show, like just guest characters who come on, they can't believe how nice the show is, you know, and they're like my family. I have known them for 25 years, you know, they've known me, well, longer than my son, and most relationships. I think TV people are different to film people because it's a long running thing. It's like not all or nothing, you know, like it's part of your life. So, yeah, I don't know why it's such a great show, but it just is. I've made some really good friends and it's afforded me a lovely life, you know, as well. And I've never wanted to leave the country. I was always just going to act until something else came along, really.
What would have that been? Something else? An accountant, a nurse, a housewife?
Probably. I mean, I remember when I got Heartbreak High, my mum didn't talk to me for a week. Because I was going to university. She wanted me to be a lawyer, you know, like all the Greek mums do. And I think this industry, you know, a lot of Greeks, they don't think that they don't want their kids to get into this industry really because they think there's no stability. And there isn't really, but I was just lucky.
So do the audience have a relationship with Leah or with you? Who is their connection to?
Well, look, obviously it's Leah, but, you know, when you've been playing the same character for 25 years, I think you're basically playing yourself.
So you and Leah become this kind of...
I think so. You know, I think the writers see how you're playing things and then they write more for you. Yeah, so I think as the series has progressed, you know, they're basically writing for me. I always joke that I think Leah's a lot nicer than me. Just like, she's just so sweet. I'm not saying that I'm not, but I think, she's a very sweet character and she loves her food and so do I.
Do you have any say in Leah's character composition?
No, not really. I'm one of those actors that just sort of likes to get the script and be surprised. If there is something really that I don't agree with, then, you know, I'll go up and have a chat, but that doesn't really happen. Now with bigger storylines, they'll suggest stuff. But again, I think that they start writing for you as well. Yeah.
And so, this soap opera position, this job with Home and Away, it's very public, isn't it? It has you constantly in the limelight. I'm sure your wardrobe is full of big hats and big sunglasses. Just no. But so what does it take away from you? What do you really have to give up to be able to maintain something as so demanding? Because when the general public see you on TV, they feel like they own you, but then they don't really because you need to step away. What does it take from you?
Look, I've been doing it since I've been 16, so I don't really remember my life prior, if that makes any sense. I guess what I've noticed that I do is I love people watching. So when I'm in Europe, I love doing that. But when I'm here, I don't do it as much. I think I've created sort of that tunnel vision just because so I don't notice people looking so much. If I'm having a bad day, I don't tend to leave the house because I think everyone's experience of me needs to be a positive one. But other than that, I worry sometimes about my, say when I go to school with my son, I don't want him to be treated differently or to be teased or anything because I'm his mum. Those sort of things. If anything, I think I just get treated better. I think it's
because Leah is such a nice person.
Yeah, but look, I think people, because the people that recognize you, you have to admit you must get better service or you must get, you are treated differently. Because I notice when I'm, say, in the States or in certain countries in Europe where no one knows who I am, it's not the same treatment. So, yeah, I think usually it has a plus.
You're in a fabulous new relationship with your on-screen husband of 5 years, James Stewart, who plays the character of Justin Morgan. Off camera, have you ever caught yourselves calling each other Leah and Justin?
That'd be weird. No. That'd be very strange. No. No one has ever asked me that. That's hilarious. No.
No. And do they at the end of the day, do you just put them back in their scripts and on the shelf and then you become go back to who you are?
Absolutely. Look, the plus with going out with your co-star is it's so much easier to learn lines, because you just read your lines together. But other than that, and look, it's great because you get to work with your partner every day, and we just had a full day yesterday in studio, and it's lovely. Like it's really nice. But geez, like other than that, like nothing. Like, could you imagine? I mean, Leah's been kidnapped like 4 times. Our lives are so different.
So you seem very comfortable with it all. It's second skin to you. You're in a place where you really enjoy it.
I do really enjoy it. I really enjoy it. Like, I can't believe, like, Jimmy and I were actually talking about this last night on the phone. We had like this full day in studio. I did, 14 scenes or something like that. And I had such a great day. It was so lovely, and it was hard. There was a lot of lines and all that sort of stuff, but just to walk away at the end of the day and just love your job after 25 years, that's such a blessing. It's really lovely.
Well, let's start with your first food memory and flick Fasouliotes onto the top of the list of world culinary destinations. So your first food memory is being in Cyprus in your mum's apartment, and Thea brought in some halloumi.
Sia Andrula. So like, this isn't like my first, like when I was a baby memory. This was like probably about 10 years ago, maybe a bit more. No, maybe about more than that. Anyway, I remember, first thing in the morning, because I love my food, and my Fiandrula, which is my mum's sister, she loves feeding me, and the two of them always argue about who makes the best food. So it's really good because I always just get fed really well.
Who does make the best food?
I'm not telling you that because I'll get in trouble. Depends on who I'm talking to. I think they're both good. But she rocked up with halloumi, and it literally had just been made.
It was warm.
It was warm. Oh, Savva, I still can taste it.
Describe the shape. Was it crescent? Was it like a circle folded in half?
Yes,
and it was really warm.
Yeah, watery. Yeah. And we had that with just watermelon, and I ate the whole thing. I couldn't stop eating it. And it tastes so different to the ones that you buy, doesn't it? Like, even if it's the ones you buy over there, like fresh halloumi is so different. It's so nice. You know how you can get it like that again? You heat it up again, right? Don't you? Is that what you do?
But
I didn't know that.
this particular halloumi that you had was folded over, wasn't it? Like it was literally around, folded over. So I know who makes that. Dasulla from Fasouliotes makes that. She used to make it for me.
Are you serious? Dasulla from Fasouliotes?
But Dasulla from Fasouliotes has been making halloumi for everyone for years. And so as soon as someone from Australia comes, because I'm also from Fasouliotes, so your mother went to school with my aunts in Fasouliotes. Yeah. But Dasulla from Fasouliotes also used to make anari, ricotta, so really fresh.
I love anari. I love anari. Actually, Mum brought some over the other day because she goes to some place in Marrickville and gets it.
Yep. Soft in the basket.
It's so good. Yes. Yeah. How do you like it? Do you like it?
So
how do you eat it?
When Dasulla from Fasouliotes used to.
When
Dasulla from Fasouliotes used to make the anari for me. So I lived with my grandparents in Fasouliotes for almost a year in my very, very early 20s. And my grandmother knew that was it. So she would go over and she would grab this fresh the halloumi was always there, and we used to dry it out and do whatever with it and grate it on macaronia and things like that. It was divine.
Yeah.
And raviolis we'll get to in a minute. That, But Dasulla from Fasouliotes used to give my yaya the anari, and it was warm and fresh, still in its kind of cylindrical shape. Yeah. And then my yaya would give me a mospilo jam, which is like loquat jam.
Yes, I love mospilo,
with geranium. And so the jam I would sort of put all over the anari, and then I'd scoop it onto guluri that she would make as well.
Oh, yeah.
So everything was very, very time. So Dasulla from Fasouliotes still makes it. And when I was there in July, she just gave us the most she's a little bit slower.
Yeah.
Her production is not up there, but she gets the milk from her cows, from her cows or her sheep. So she does it. It's literally paddock to plate. So that's what you're getting.
It's the best thing I have ever eaten in my life. I can still taste it. I can taste it. The texture, the taste, I don't know what, it was just so amazing. I could not stop it. If there was 5 halloumi there, I would have eaten 5.
So it was probably made that morning.
Oh, no, it was. I know. Thea Andula literally picked it up from Dasulla, from Fasouliotes, and brought it. Yeah. No, it was literally made there. And I've never tasted anything like that since.
What did you eat it with? Well, you had it with carpuzi, with patija, with watermelon.
Yeah, carpuzi. But I also put it on gabira with jam. Yeah. I also did that. I mean, that's the whole thing with halloumi. It's so versatile. You know, you can have it anywhere. And I love it. Like when I'm here in Australia, I give, my friends halloumi, and they're like, don't we have to cook it? I'm like, no, just have it like this. You don't need to cook it. Like, you don't need to put it on the barbie. Like, just eat it.
You have another memory of souvla in Fasouliotes in Cyprus. So
how good is the meat? Yeah. The pork.
The pork.
Nothing tastes like that. I can't get that here. Because my fiandula's got, you know how they've all got their fields and whatever. She's got like her farmhouse. Like
where does she live?
Well, she lives in Limassol, but she's also got, she's got 2 houses in Fasouliotes.
Of course you would.
Of course she one she's now given. Well, I wonder whether you ever went to her taverna. There used to be a taverna at her house in Fasouliotes.
Oh, yes.
That was my fiancée.
That was her.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's my mum. Right. And that's where my mum grew up, in that house. Right. But now she's got like her little sort of farmhouse as well, because it's cooler. And she stays there, and they're like literally got the whole backyard set up with the coals. They don't even have a proper souvla. And they start with like, the chicken on the coals, and, they'll do a little bit of octopus. They do all that sort of, mezeres, and you have that with like an ouzo or a beer. And then you have the souvla.
And what's the beer that you're drinking there?
Isn't it, girl? Yeah. Right? Yeah. You got to. It's so good. It's so good, girl. Do you reckon, though, that every place you go to, you've got to have the local beer because for some reason it's the best? Don't you find that in Greece?
Yeah, I do with Mythos. Yeah,
Yeah.
but I quite in fact, I have a T-shirt. I have a Kyoto T-shirt, but I can't get to it. But I literally have one that I wear all the time. It's like a cool thing. Like people wear V, and when I wear it, when there, people are going, "We can't be seen with you in that T-shirt." But I washed it. I bashed it to get the rocks. So then, so let's talk about Cyprus for a second. I mean, for me, Cyprus is a place where I get the answers to who am I, where I come from. You know, I drive like they do, I eat like they do, I swear like that, I tease,
Do
I
you
joke.
get anxiety, though, when you first arrived? The chaos.
Hot. The chaos.
I was actually saying this I was trying to explain to Jimmy about Cyprus. Everything you said, I feel like I've arrived home. I feel, because that's where my family is, but there's something about, you just feel so grounded when you're there. And it's not about the picturesque places. It's about the people. It's about, you know, all your cousins and the fields and the food. And I don't know, it's home. But the minute I land, bloody Cypriots, they're just, don't you reckon? Like, there's just chaos. It's like, I remember going to like the shop, to the supermarket, and I was trying to park the car, and then, because they used two parks, and there was like this one car, it did the same thing, it parked in two spots. And I go, oh, signal me, you know, you're taking up two spots. He goes, echo missing this.
I've got a Mercedes.
I'm like, and like, it's like the arrogance of course I'm going to take two spots. And don't you reckon they're all like you get there and nothing gets done? Like trying to get a license could take days, isn't it? But I love going to Cyprus. I love it.
Explain what it is that you love, because I know because I'm with my tribe when I'm there, and I flirt with the idea of living there. But I just, like you, I all of a sudden the practical things just kind of dawn on me, and I'm all of a sudden, get me the F out of here. Like,
I don't have. Okay, so we never grew up here with family as such. They all went back to Cyprus, and you're always a little bit alone or something. Like you said, you don't have your
here
tribe
in Australia.
In Australia. I like that when you're in Cyprus, you know, you're home in the morning, whoever just pops in, pops out, you know, like you're going over to one uncle's for lunch, another person's for dinner. Like at night, you will go and walk down the beach in Limassol, you know, have your corn. I don't like it. It's just, you don't even need friends as much. Like you've got your family, you know, it's just that sense of community. They live to enjoy life there. It's not about work. Their priorities are completely different, I think. I'm just a different version of myself there, one with anxiety, but I'm strangely, like I fit in. I know where I fit in. I think here in Australia, like even though I was born here, like you're not anything, like you don't know where you belong, sort of thing, if that makes sense. I don't know if you get that sense, but
absolutely.
You know, it's not your culture. It's just different.
The interesting thing is, you know, our parents, when they came to this country, because I think our parents came about the same time, they come with the principles and the ideas and the way that was being, a life that was being lived, and they hold on to them, and they still hold on to them, and nothing changes for them because that's how they believe the land to be. But then when you go back and everything has changed, it just becomes this, like, hang on, we're not.
I'm so glad you brought that up, because I had such a strict upbringing and wasn't allowed to do anything. And I just thought that that's how the Greek way was. And then I went back to Cyprus, and my cousins are like, you know, tattoos of doing
cigarettes.
This and that. They all smoke over there. They all smoke. Like, you know, they all smoke and drink and like hardly eat. It's weird. Like, don't you think? But they have this free lifestyle. And I just never understood it. And I just wonder whether, because our parents probably came just before the war.
Yeah.
And so we kept.
We're speaking the Turkish occupation.
Yeah, the Turkish occupation in 1974. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so they had a different sort of way of life, maybe, whereas our cousins, they've gone through that occupation. They know that things can change the next day. So maybe that's why they're a bit freer. That's my theory.
That's exactly what it is. That
You
is
know,
exactly what it is.
because we haven't gone through that.
But they live a life that we're living now. Like that the Australian, do you know what I mean? Like they're living the life that other Australian families were living, but just a Greek Cypriot version. So they were allowed to go
Yeah.
out. I mean, divorce, I remember divorces were happening. A very close family member got divorced in the very early 80s, and only Australian families got divorced here in the early 80s. So then when we got letter on those blue airmails, do you remember those blue airmails that used to
Yes.
open up?
Yeah,
And then so
yeah.
blah, 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 and I'm getting a divorce. It was like shock horror. The
Yes.
telephone, all the STD calls between here. STDs were not a disease. They were the calls, beep, beep, beep.
Yes.
So Wollongong, so up and down those calls, like guess who's getting divorced, blah, blah, blah. It was a really big deal. But really,
Yeah.
it was just a mirror of what the society, and we kind of, like you say, we lived these strict lifestyles because our
Yeah.
parents
Yeah,
wanted
yeah,
to.
yeah.
But I think they were trying to maintain and hold on to. They didn't want to lose that culture. Here they were in this country.
Yeah. And they didn't have any family support. So
No.
that's what they knew. So they were just doing what they knew, And I think about that, and I think, because I look at my brother and I think we're great people. I think my mum did a really good
Very good job.
with the two of us. And so maybe there's something in the way with it. I'm like, obviously that's not how I'm bringing up my son, but there is some little bits that I take from mum.
She gave you sitter. She gave you straight
Yeah.
lines. She gave you boundaries,
Yeah.
and you probably, we probably, I speak for myself.
And work ethic.
And work ethic.
And work ethic, and not just to expect stuff. And, yeah, I mean, we had fun. I mean, I literally from 2 weeks old was in a bloody shop, she did take me to work, and before I went to school, I knew how to count back change. I was like literally in the mixed business delicatessen, every
Your
school
bed was
holiday.
the phone box.
Oh man, like honestly, I could run your business. I could run any business, And I look at my son, and my son's 12. Do you think he can do anything? Like today, this morning, I was asking him to put a bin liner in the bin, and he's like looking at it going, I don't understand. I'm like, Jonas, what do you mean? Whereas I was cooking, cleaning, looking after my brother. Like our kids are just so different these days.
I know it is, but really, if we've got to break the habit, we've got to change it. Like it's really up to us, and we've got to, if we want them to be anything else.
Yeah, no, I'm cracking down on him now. Yeah,
Oh.
I've been. Yeah, no, I have. I'm like, right, that's it. Do you know what? The other day though, there was a frog. There was a frog in my pot plant outside, and I squealed so loud, and he was so cute. So, okay, Mummy, I've got it. It took him about 40 minutes. He's like, how do I, give me some gloves? I'm going to sort this out. And he did. So even though he's not very domesticated, he's trying. He's
He's being the dad of the family. All right, we're moving on to your second food memory.
Yeah.
It's one around your birthday.
Yeah. So my favorite food in the world are raviolis. So they're, the Cypriot ravioli for everyone else out there. And it's like, I think it's 3 different types of cheese, is it? And mint.
Yep.
Yeah. And so every birthday, Mum would spend all day, because it's quite a hard thing to make, and she'd spend all day making me raviolis. So I knew that every night I'd have, for my birthday, I'd have raviolis. So, yeah.
So the raviolis are grated, the 3 grated cheeses, and halloumi, and I don't know what the other one is.
I think, I don't even know. Yeah, that one. Yeah.
So did she cook them in a chicken broth?
Yeah, in a chicken broth, and then you put ricotta on top, like the dried ricotta, and then some mint and lemon. You put lemon on everything, right?
Absolutely. So this particular dish is a leftover from the Venetian occupation of Cyprus. They gave us raviola or ravioles.
Yeah.
They gave us ravioles, and we gave them a lefkaritika, like a lace design and pattern from Lefkara, which is a village.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was. I'm sure it wasn't that sort of exchange.
Yeah.
So when you go to some of the smaller islands in Venice, you'll see our beautiful Cypriot lace all over the place. So is it true that your mother used to make them on a semi-commercial level?
She
and
does
sell
now.
them to restaurants?
No, now she does.
She does now.
Yeah. Like even as I speak, I have a few packets of mum raviolis are like just on hand. It's also it's my go-to meal. Like it's my comfort food, raviolis, and my son's. But yeah, she sells them. She just sells them to restaurants. Not so much now, more of like privately if someone asks for them.
Let's spend some time talking about your mum
Yeah.
here. I mean, because she's going to love this if she listens to the episode. Now, her name is Genovefa,
Yes.
but she also goes by the name of Vefa
Vefa.
and Jenny.
Yep.
But she's really known as the Bessemer lady. J. Vef in the house.
Do you know about Bessemer? That's awesome.
So when I told my cousins that you were coming on the show, and they were all like, "Stop! You mean the Bessemer lady's daughter,
Oh my
not
God, that's hilarious.
Other from Home and Away?" So it seems like that her Bessemer lady years eclipse your fame on the show.
Fair enough. That is hilarious. Well, you know, my brother and I would like every weekend we'd have to go to those bloody parties.
Tell us about Bessemer. Tell us about what Bessemer is.
Okay, so I reckon they're the best pots and pans. I think they sell them now in like our house or something. But yeah, they're like the cast iron. Every European has them, and they're non-stick, and they're heavy, and they're really expensive. And I think my mum sold them for about 25 years, and she was really good at it. Like, yeah, she was like a state manager. I don't know what. She got up quite high, and she'd go on conferences. But she'd do these, like, I guess, sort of Tupperware parties, but they were Bessemer parties. And they'd make, like, something there. And the thing that they'd always make would be everyone would want the pizza, and you do everything in the one dish, in the baking dish. I don't have them now. And like
what colour? Orange.
No, black now for me. Yeah, black. But because she's low on stock, so if I burn something, she's like, I've only got the red. Okay, it doesn't go with everything else, Mum. It doesn't go. Like, I only want the black. But yeah, she's still got so much stock of it as well.
Now, we spoke earlier that she raised you and your brother solo. So
Yeah.
she did it all on her own. She worked, she cooked, she cleaned, and you are both today because of her.
Absolutely, yeah.
How do you look back on those years now when you think she did it on her own?
I don't know how she did it. I was 14 when my mum and dad split up. So prior to that, my dad was in the picture. But to give us everything in life and more so, and to work a full-time job and then another part-time job doing Bessemer, and then to raise two kids and to not know the language that well. I don't know how she did it. And in a time when there wasn't a lot of single mothers they in the Greek community as well. So I don't know whether there was a bit of a stigma around that. Yeah. So it would have been hard, but and she was strict. She was so strict and hard on us.
Why?
I think she was scared, and I think she also, it's how she was brought up. It was how she was brought up, so that's how she had to bring us up, you know. But I'm glad that she did, because, you know, we were at home a lot by ourselves because Mum worked. We never had people over. I never trashed the house. Like, I was always very house proud. Like I said, I always cooked, I cleaned, we did our homework. We also wanted to better ourselves as well.
What do you mean? What do you mean by better? What do you mean by better?
Educate ourselves, you know, buy property, travel, have families, like, you know, all of that sort of stuff. We just always wanted more out of life, Costa and I. And from the moment we could, we, you know, saved up, we got our first investment property, and, you know, and that's just, yeah, my brother and I.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And that's just how Mum brought us up. Mum always said, you never borrow money for a car, and you never borrow money for a holiday. And I don't do that, you know. And I only ever rented one. I rented for 6 months.
Oof.
And it was awful. I hated it. Every week I'd go to the real estate agent like, here, take my money. It was like just like there was something unnatural about it, you know. And my mum is the most resourceful woman you'll ever meet. Like, she just never, she knows someone everywhere, and she just, you know what, they're all sort of connected, but she's never without money, and never with it. Like, she can get by in life.
She understands what it means to have a village.
Absolutely. Yeah. And look, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing now if it wasn't for my mum. I separated from my husband. My son was 2 years old, and she would come, you know, 3:00 in the morning, 4:00 in the morning, and like come to the house and stay so then I could go to work, and my mum's done that. I mean, Jonas is now 12. She does that for Costa's kids as well. That's just how we've been brought up.
So she lives close by to both of you?
Oh, yeah, we can't move away from her. Are you serious? She won't let us. and, of course, we've got keys to our houses.
And what does so she is a pretty fabulous cook.
Yeah.
Her flaunes, her Easter flaunes are sort of trademark glory.
Yeah.
What else do you like that she prepares for you?
Koftedes. She actually makes the best koftedes.
What makes better than your aunt?
Well, they make the same. They're the same because they've been taught the same. Okay, so they get, I think, 3 or 4 different types of meat, and they use 2 knives and they mince it, mince it so it's a bit chunkier.
Yeah.
And then it's the usual, the grated potato, the grated onion, is it parsley, egg, salt, doesn't put pepper. But she does this thing where she does put pepper, and then if I ever try it, she goes, "Oh, don't you like pepper?" I'm like, "Oh my God, Mum, I'm 47 years old. I don't like pepper." Her macaroni de forno are amazing.
That is sort of like lasagna.
Yeah, like lasagna. Moussaca's great.
Moussaka, yeah.
Actually, we're having sort of like it tomorrow. Amazing. She makes pizza fresh as well. That's amazing. Her olive bread. Obviously the other Buddha called bugats. I mean, I think it goes on and on and on. Like, what do you want? She makes it. Like, she's amazing.
Have you learnt any of those recipes? No, not yet.
Yes and no.
Because she's going to live forever.
No, because you know what? When I try and sit down and go, "Mum, how much of this do I put in?" A bit of this, a bit of that. Yeah, but I need specifications. Like, how much? And I do know, like, I made algo lemon the other day for my son because he was sick. So I know how to make, I know how to make stuff. I know how to make gimme star, koftedes. I haven't made the macaroni de forno by myself or the dolmades. She makes good dolmades. But yeah, I've got to learn.
Kubebia.
Yeah. Well, we call it, kubebia. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Let's move on to your third food memory. Now, this is a birthday cake.
Yeah. So I'm not a baker. My mum is a massive baker. I don't bake. But for some reason, I thought that I'm going to be the most amazing mum in the world, and I have to make a birthday cake for my son's first birthday.
So making your son's birthday cake is going to make you an amazing mum.
That's all. Yeah, that's all I need. Yeah.
Blood cakes.
Yeah, because, the first year of their life, I just found it such a struggle. It was so hard and I was working, but I had to make that cake. I stayed up all night. And, of course, I've got to make it into the shape of a monkey, and I've got to ice it and stuff like that as well. Took 2 goes, but I did it. I did the cake, and he doesn't eat sugar, but I've got photos of him now. Like, he literally did put his finger and then his whole hand in the chocolate cake, and it's like all over his face, and he licked it and stuff. It's the only time he's ever had cake is for his first birthday.
Jonah is a heaven little boy, isn't he? Tell us a little bit
about
my
little Jonah. So he's a yanni.
He's a yanni.
Yeah. But we couldn't have yanni because we already had a yanni, so we did Jonas. Oh, the love of my life. Like, he's amazing. He's very, very smart, very funny. He's my little buddy. He's obsessed with soccer, football, actually, I've got to call it. A very fussy eater, though. But he eats stuff like he'll have a lot of the Cypriot, like the Greek, like he'll have fages, louvi, all that sort of stuff. But colours, like he'll eat broccoli, vegetables, eat broccoli, cauliflower, and cucumbers, sometimes peas. But, yeah, he's a very fussy eater. But, yeah, he's just a great kid, and he's going into high school next year.
So he's becoming a big boy. How does that make you feel, Mama?
Oh, my God, don't. I've been crying. Like, even today, I dropped him off at school, and I went, "Enjoy your last Thursday." And then, of course, I took off and I started crying. I took him to orientation for his school. And as we were rocking up for orientation, he said, "Mum, do not cry." I went, "I'll be fine." I just started crying again. I mean, when he finished kindergarten, and it's just gone like that. And how old are your kids?
Mine, they'll be 10. Next year. They'll be 10, yeah.
And you know how that say savour, and it just, like, he's just starting to be a little man. And the stuff that we talk, he'll talk to me about politics. He knows so much more than I do about everything. He's so super smart. I'm like, when did this happen? Like, how are you going into high school, But, yeah, he's growing up and he's great. He's just a great kid. He just won his 5th grand final.
You joked earlier about being a good mum, making a cake is going to make you a good mum. As a single working mum, like your mother was, do you ever feel like you have to overcompensate to make up for the times that you're not there?
Absolutely. Yeah. I think you just always feel guilty. You always feel guilty with everything that you're doing. So you definitely feel like you have to overcompensate. But I think the older I've gotten with this and he's gotten older, I've realized that what I'm also teaching him is about working hard, and everything that he's got is because mum works hard. And I do have to sacrifice time with him, but he's also got this great life because of, me working hard, and that is life, but that's why he also needs to help out and pull his weight. So, yeah, but look, you do feel guilty and you want to spend as much time with them as possible. But home and away really good where I have school holidays I have 1 week in the school holidays, every school holiday's off. Plus at the end of the year, I've got more time off. So I make sure that I get heaps of time with him.
You've spoken before about subscribing to that good Greek girl sort of personality, What pressure does subscribing to being a good Greek girl put on your development as a woman, as a Greek Australian woman? What did that do to you?
Well, I'm just always hard on myself. I remember when Jonas was born. I mean, if you walked into my house, it looked like there wasn't a baby there. I just
don't let the visitors know.
I'm still house pat. I was like this morning. Do you know how many hours I was cleaning before the cleaner came? I can't help myself. I'm just a real perfectionist and I'm just very hard on myself and I keep busy all the time and I don't know why I'm like that. I try to go a bit easier on myself, but I think it is just growing up with migrant parents who just always worked and, we were taught to really appreciate everything and save and, all of that sort of stuff. So I think it's just inbuilt in me.
What is a good Greek girl?
What is a good Greek girl? Exactly. Like, what is a good Greek girl? I don't know. Being a good mum, having a tidy house, saving your money. Who knows? It doesn't even make sense. I always joke that my mum must have like a Greek book of rules that because there's all these dumb rules that you just but you have to do this. I'm like, but why? Why do I have to hang the clothes on the line this way? Who says, Mum, don't go to bed with wet hair? Why? Why don't I go to bed with wet hair, Mum? So who knows what a good Greek girl is? I don't think they exist.
Your social cause is Save Our Sons. Why have you chosen this?
I go to a lot of charity functions and they're all very worthwhile but they are all usually quite big charities. But I remember going to their first ever fundraiser. It was 16 years ago. And so it's Duchenne muscular dystrophy. And the man who was doing this fundraiser, his son had been diagnosed. I think his son was only 4 or something at the time. And I was just really moved. It was 100% fatality. The kids get diagnosed about 5 to 7. They don't usually make it past 20. Now it's a bit longer. And I wasn't a mum at the time, but I was sitting at a table with mums who had lost their boys. And I was just so moved that I had to do something. So I just went up to Ellie, the father, and I said, look, anything you want me to do, I'll do it. And he said, oh, well, we don't have an ambassador. I went, okay, there you go. That's what I'll do. So, yeah, I just would go to every fundraiser and, go to the cherry auction and try and raise money, whatever it be. And then in the end, of course, I've had a son, but we just, touch wood. It's such a Greek thing, isn't it? And bite my tongue. Yeah. Anything you can do to help people.
What does Save Our Sons do?
So they raise awareness for muscular dystrophy, Duchenne muscular dystrophy. They're also going to the government to try and sort of start some trials. They've been quite successful with the trials. They're really trying to come up with a cure. They also help out a lot of families with Duchenne, whether that be with care, with cars, with equipment, all that sort of stuff. And 100% of the funds that raised go to Save Our Sons and go to the families or to research as well.
What can our TFM listeners do to get involved and support Save Our Sons?
Go onto the website. Yeah, I think it's saveoursons.org.au.
Mm-hmm.
They've got an Instagram page as well. You can either donate every week or you can do a once-off or turn up to a fundraiser. You can also walk. They do big walks every year as well, so you can do that.
We can come and see you auction a cherry or two.
Yeah, I've done it in a couple of years, but yeah, why not? Come.
To finish today, I just want to reflect back on an interview you gave 10 years ago where you were asked, what would be the one piece of advice you'd give your younger self? You answered, and I know where this comes from because you and I come from the very same place. Your answer was, don't think you know everything because you don't. Ask a lot of questions and be very inquisitive. Listen, don't be so quick to give advice and don't be so judgmental. That's what you said 10 years ago. So my question to you now keep up with me on this.
Yeah.
Would the you now be more compassionate to the you 10 years ago when you answered this question? Because the you 10 years ago wasn't very gentle on the younger you.
Yeah, it's so true. Yeah, I would say to young Ada, just be kind to yourself. You know, you're young, you're starting out, and also embrace your culture a lot more, enjoy it a lot more because it's a great culture. I mean, I've only just started enjoying going to Greece, for example, in the last few years. I don't know why I used to always shy away from it. Greece is like the best country in the world. But I think when you're younger, you're like, I don't want to be different or something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I want to fit in. But yeah, go easy on yourself, Ada. And you don't know anything.
It's that, RuPaul song, Back to My Roots, isn't it? We go to where we started from, around circle.
Yeah.
Now, we have a tradition, an MFK Fisher serve it forth tradition here at Three Food Memories, where our previous guest presents you with a dish. Our last guest, Christian Hull, serves you rice paper rolls with coriander.
Okay.
with coriander. Our next guest is beautiful chef Tony Tan. What would you like to serve him?
Raviolis. Don't you think? Come on. Raviolis.
With the stock.
Yeah, with the chicken stock, with the cheese and the mint on top and some lemon. Thank you very much. Oh, shushuko.
Tell us what shujuko is. I know what it is. I sleep with it under my pillow because I love it so much.
You know I've got...
I don't, but...
like when I've got it in the house, like it
last.
goes. It just goes, I eat the whole thing. So it's, I guess, a string of like almonds and they dip it in grape juice, but then it sort of solidifies and goes hard. Is it like a gelatin?
It's got corn flour in it.
Corn flour. And it's a dessert, but it's not that sweet. And it's kind of like what a cross between like a Turkish delight and how would you describe it? It doesn't look great. It doesn't look good.
It looks like a dick.
Or poo, really.
Or poo. Well,
yeah, but you know what I mean? Like when you're looking at it, like because whenever I show people, they go, "What the hell?" But I love shushuko. So yeah, I'm going to change it. I'm going to change it to shushuko.
We're going to change it. Tony Tan, there you go. Shushuko is yours. Άδαμου χάρηκα που βρεθήκαμε. Σε έστελω πάρα πολύ αγάπη. Big thanks, lady. And a 5-finger na to polenta. Thank you so much.
Yes, exactly. Nah. Oh, thank you. Enjoy your move.
That's it for this episode of Three Food Memories. In the next episode, you'll meet Australia's very own Tony Tan.
I can still remember walking down Lygon Street, smelling all that coffee, smelling all that pizza, and there is weed in the air, all that kind of stuff, which I never expected to see, because in Malaysia, if you're caught even having a whiff of ganja, you get thrown into jail. And I was just thinking, this is just crazy. You can smell it everywhere, you know.
Be sure to spread the plated love and check out our 50-plus back episodes. They're still as delicious as they were when they came out of the wok. For all things TFM, head to the socials at 3 Food Memories and at Savva. For more info and to send us a message, head to 3foodmemories.com. Three Food Memories is produced and edited by Lauren McWhirter with original music by Russell Torrance. Nasta kalafili and bye for now.
Thank you for listening to Papa's podcast. Don't